It's time to go Formula Golf 1000 racing again. We're at Dubai Autodrome on the Grand Prix circuit. And this is how they qualified for round number 3. Tiaz Irani on pole, Eddie Axiu in second, Ahmed Al Ghanem in third, Masha Al-Hajala in fourth, Yusuf Al-Baida in fifth, Rebria in sixth, and Al Faisal Al-Zabar in seventh. 10 laps will be our race distance for this round number 3. We're on board now with Yusuf Al-Baida as they head down, lights go out, and we are racing. And have a look at this battle off the start line on the right hand side. Tiaz Irani, and then it's Eddie Axiu, Mashab Al-Hajala and Ahmed down the outside, and it's 4 wide into turn 1, and they all manage to get through there, and Masha runs wide and gets relegated back down into third position, now down into fourth as they head around turns 3 and 4. 16 corners on the 5.39 kilometre long Grand Prix configuration, as the tyres are still quite cold, even though it is in the early afternoon. Cars heading around turn 7 up into the 8-9 complex, which takes them 180 degrees round onto the back straight, as the door was left open there for Masha, who's making his way back up through the field after losing out in that battle down into turn 1. And we're on the long back straight now, heading up towards 225 kilometres an hour in these FG 1000s, and Eddie Axiu having a look up the inside. He's a long way back, and just holds his line and given some grace from the other driver, and makes that move stick as he heads up around turn 11 up to the top of the circuit. Turn 12, quite a nasty bump there on the corner. You can see Tiaz Irani working very hard as they head down from turn 12 into this big long sweeping left-hander 6th gear in the GSXR 1000 powered FG 1000s, and sun right in their eyes as they head into the braking zone of turn 14. Well complex just behind the pits, and then a little short run uphill to turn 15, and now down towards turn 16. Tiaz runs wide out of there, picks up the ripple strip, just has to get out of the throttle slightly. Our leader not troubling the apex as they disappear off down the start finish straight and head off on lap number 2. And Tiaz getting a very good run down the start finish straight, and up the inside he runs very deep into turn 1 and manages to hang on to that lead. Eddie Axiu also working his way back up through the field up into the 3-4 complex, the technical part of this course, and they're flat out in 5th gear through there, and heading down into the turn 6, an opening right-hander, and then into the tightening turn number 7 as Tiaz takes a bit of ripple strips on the exit of 7 straight into the sun. Very, very difficult for the drivers to find their turn-in points and their braking points, and now with the sun behind them onto the back straight. Ahmed Al Ghanem winding the car up to around its peak speed, 226 kilometres an hour, brake around the 120 mark, and get back to second in first gear to head around the tightest corner on the circuit, turn number 10, and then short shift up the hill to turn 11, and then difficult entry, uphill entry, downhill exit, turn 12, and you can see the car's getting really, really thrown around by the bump on the apex of that corner. Ahmed Al Ghanem's got a very, very good run down towards turn 13, and nice braking move up the inside, runs it up onto the bank to wash off some speed, and back down to the clipping point, and gets himself lined up nicely from turn 15. Very nice move from Ahmed Al Ghanem. Eddie Axiu also trying to make up some positions as they head down towards turn 16, and the door left wide open, and almost the come in sign left on the door there, and so he made that move with very little effort whatsoever, and heading off down the start finish straight down towards turn 1. Tiazarani, that was very close indeed, almost coming into the contact with the car in front. And he just runs a little wide out of turn 2, has to get back onto the grippy part of the circuit through 3 and 4. And the car's really balancing on a knife edge as they come around turn 7. Heading up to the 8-9 complex now with the sun in their eyes. Very difficult for the young drivers to work out where they are on the circuit and where to turn in. But Tiaz has a very good run out of turn 9, as he's already up alongside and disappearing off into the distance and being able to move back onto the racing line. And that was all for his very good exit out of turn 9. Got on the power nice and early, a little bit early on the power there. Eddie Akshu also trying to stay in contact with the leaders as we head up towards turn 12. Race is sort of single filing at the moment. We're on lap 3 of 10. And this is round number 3 of the 2014-15 Formula Golf 1000 season as they head around turn 13. Into the braking zone of turn 14, you can let the car run up quite high. You can see all the different lines that the drivers are taking, mainly because the sun's in their eyes and they're just missing their turn-in points and missing their braking point. Eddie once again using a lot of the ripple strips on the exit. Just had to lift off the throttle there. Back into the car came around and heading off down the start-finish straight to complete lap number 4. And he got a very, very good run out of turn 16, and he's up alongside before the end of the pit exit, being made to use all of the track. Gets the car turned in on the dirty part of the circuit, and a very, very good effort on board with Masha Balhajala. He was battling up with the lead pack off the first corner, and just a very nice over-under move. Moves himself up another position as he heads up towards turn number 12. You see the drivers lifting their right hand off the steering wheel, changing gears, sequential gearbox, no paddle shift in these cars. And Ahmed Al-Ghanim's got a very good run. You can hear him coming on and off the throttle. Car in front missed a gear around the outside of Mash, and Mash is now pointing down the track, which he's stuck on the outside of turn 14, and that has caused the race to be concluded on lap number 8 with a red flag. Masha Balhajala getting into some trouble there, getting the car running backwards and destroyed the starter motor, and the race has been called, and Mash dejectedly gets out of the car as the rest of the drivers acknowledge the red flag, and they'll come around onto the start-finish grid. But we're on lap 8 of 10, and it was Tiazarani who takes a win from Eddie Akshu. Ahmed Al-Ghanim in 3rd, Yusuf Al-Bader in 4th, Faisal Al-Zabar in 5th, Neil Greer in 6th, and DNF unfortunately from Masha Balhajala. On board race 2 with Masha Balhajala. 10 laps once again. Round number 4 of the FG 1000 Championship for the 14-15 season. And it's a battle down to turn 1. The battle happening up in front. We're on board with Eddie Akshu. He splits Yusuf Al-Bader on the left and Ahmed Al-Ghanim on the right hand side. Eddie runs wide though, and that's going to allow Ahmed back through. You can see him heading off into the lead. Tiazarani also moving up through the field. Around very difficult 3 and 4. Don't see much overtaking happening in that area. He heads down towards turn number 6. Flowing right-hander. Battle on in front of him, which is Tiazarani. As they make their way, you can see Eddie Akshu just behind Ahmed as they head onto the back straight. Ahmed Al-Ghanim in the lead. Eddie Akshu in second, having a lot of oversteer there, coming off that corner And they're into the braking zone. Ahmed Al-Ghanem had Eddie Achu come up the inside of him down here on lap 1 in the previous race. Has a look in his mirrors, and a very late dive there by Eddie Achu lifts the back end of the car off the ground of Ahmed Al-Ghanem's, and we're on the slow-mo replay, and you can see that car getting launched across the circuit. Eddie just making sure that all the bits of his car are still pointing in the right direction. Faisal Al-Zabar picked up her place out of that as well as they head up towards turn number 12. 5.39 kilometres is the distance around this Grand Prix configuration of the Dubai Autodrome. Lap 1 of 10, and Ahmed Al-Ghanem, unfortunately that car not sitting on 4 wheels. You can see the car rocking around as the suspension right rear and front left very, very badly damaged from that collision. Mashab Al-Hajala in a second place at the moment. Big lock-up coming down there, and that's going to lose him. He's going to drop back into third as they head off down towards turn 1. And he just lifted off the throttle slightly there, and he's lost all of that toe heading down. And it's slowed his speed up because he pulled out into the draft after lifting off the throttle. Faisal Al-Zabar heading around up over turn 3 into turn 4 double apex, and he's flicked left at turn 5 and down a couple of gears into the flowing turn 6. It's very difficult to keep the cars in tight here. He runs out over the ripple strip, and bang, that was a big hit as the car bottomed out. The wheels were off the ground, and that looked incredibly painful. He's going to be a sore boy for the next couple of days. It was so violent, that impact, that he actually has to straighten the mirrors up again, and they're not easy to move. Lap 7, we've moved a few laps forward. Now Faisal Al-Zabar doing a big hunt down job. He's doing very well, and he's just about controlled that drift, and bangs it back down through the sequential gearbox and gets mobile again. He's going to have to make up a few places, and that was Yusuf Al-Baida getting past him as he winds it back up again. This is Eddie Haxiel heading down towards turn 1, braking about the 120 metre mark from around about 220 kilometres an hour, and then back through the back complex. And now Faisal Al-Zabar right up on the back of Yusuf Al-Baida as they're on the final lap of round number 4 of the Formula Golf 1000 Championship, and he's got a very good run out of turn 9, and he's cleanly up the inside, and that's a move up into a 4th position for our Faisal Al-Zabar, and he does the business. Yusuf Al-Baida back into 5th position. Final corner coming up for Tiaz Arani. 10 laps completed. Round number 4 of the Formula Golf 1000, and Tiaz Arani takes the checkered flag and celebrates with his team. And so this is how they'll line up at the end of round 4. Tiaz Arani takes the win from Eddie Haxiu. Mashab Al-Hajala in 3rd, our Faisal Al-Zabar in 4th, Yusuf Al-Baida 5th, Neil Greer in 6th, an unfortunate DNF for Ahmed Al-Ghanem. We hope to welcome you back to rounds 5 and 6 of the Formula Golf 1000 Championship real soon. Bye for now.